today's workout, I'm doing shoulder press, pull-ups, middle splits, rotator cuff work, bicep and tricep. So I'll be doing strength and flexibility. And for my strength training, I'm working towards my goals of a one-arm pull-up and a handstand push-up. But I've got a little bit of an imbalance in my shoulders. I'm dealing with an old slap tear, rotator cuff tears as well. So I'm doing some dumbbell work to work out those imbalances. Now, this isn't a tutorial. This is one of my workouts. So if you've got any questions, let me know in the comments. All right, so I'm starting with some trigger point release for my lats, because the first thing that I have to deal with in every workout and every warm-up is make sure that my shoulder is going to perform okay, because I've had a slap tear. I've had a slap tear in both shoulders, but this one's worse. And tight lats are just such a big contributor to all of that. So if you watch my videos regularly and you have shoulder pain, and you're not doing this stuff daily, at least before your workouts, then what are you doing? Because there's a reason why I do this. It works. I don't do anything in these videos that doesn't work. It doesn't really help me. And so, yeah, relieving my lats, or getting a little bit of a release before I start, and then I'm going to do a bunch of warm-ups in a minute. I'm going to be using this body blade and some bands and doing a whole bunch of things to really switch on all of the muscle systems in my shoulder, the scapular stabilizers, the rotator cuff, before I even start doing my primary lifts. I'm going to be doing shoulder press and pull-ups today. Then I'm going to do I'm going to do some supplementary lifts for my lats and shoulders. And then I'm going to do a whole bunch of bicep work and tricep work. So, and I'm also doing middle splits as well, of course. I do strength and flexibility in the same workout, so I will be doing middle splits training in this workout too. There's a couple of good ones here. My shoulder feels a lot better today. I've the stuff that I've been doing lately, I've actually been neglecting these trigger point release work a bit lately, and you know, I had a bit of a flare up in my shoulder, and it just reminded me how much I need to do this stuff, and my shoulder's already starting to feel a lot better. And this is one more thing that I do as well, or that I've been doing lately, very specific to a slap tear, but you know, there's a lot of bicep involved in a slap tear because of the long head of the bicep. And so what I've been doing is trigger point release on my bicep, and I just do that with my thumb. That's the best way to get a good release. And I just find spots on my bicep that feel super tight. And so that's around here. I can feel that. And then I'll just, there we go. And then I'm going to really press in there hard. And go for about 10 seconds so I get a release. All right, there we go. And then I can do a little bit of farting on myself here. And let me clarify what farting is. Farting is fake active release techniques. I learned that from a friend of mine who is an active release technique practitioner. And when he saw my brother and me doing it on ourselves, he went, "Oh, you guys are farting on yourself." And I had a good laugh at that. But it's basically, active release techniques is where you pin your muscles in a shortened range and you try and hold it still, and then by lengthening the muscles, it causes, because you've got some of the muscles pinned, it causes the fascia to move on each other, and you can break up abrasions. That's the best explanation that I've heard of what active release techniques are, but it's done wonders for me. And even fake active release techniques that I do myself have really helped me. So don't take any of this as medical advice. I'm just some schmuck on YouTube. Definitely don't be listening to anything that I say as medical advice. Oh, that feels so much better. Okay, so now I can do a few band pull-aparts. and start working my scapular stabilizers. So you've got to pull as far apart as you can with this. You're really trying to retract as much as possible. And if you do have a slap tear and you're watching this, remember that what I'm doing is right at the end of the journey of rehab for a slap tear. I mean, I'm not even in rehab anymore. I'm doing all the training that I want to be doing. So this stuff is just my warm up. But you do this in advanced stages of shoulder rehab for a slap tear. So, but don't be trying to copy me here if you're in the early phases of your rehab, because that will not end well, and you probably won't be able to do most of what I'm doing. And if you do want to get out of the earlier phases of rehab and get to the more advanced stuff, then come and join the UMS Tribe membership, where I can create a custom program for you, and you can work with me and my team and get coaching. I'll zoom out a bit so you can see this better. This is called a body blade, and this is really, really cool, especially for the rotator cuff. Very challenging. Oh, there's links in the description of all of the equipment I use as well. And of course, we make a very small commission off it, very small, at no cost to you. But if you use our Amazon links, it really helps our channel. And, you know, you can just go straight to the equipment that I get, that I use. You don't have to search for it yourself. And I've found everything that I link, I share the cheapest possible version of the best equipment, and that has really good reviews. For example, as much as I love these body blades, this was a business expense when we got it, and these things cost like between $300 and $500. They're incredibly expensive depending on which one you get. And I've found a more cost-effective alternative for these, and if I was to buy it out of my own pocket, I would certainly be getting that one. I'm so much worse on the left side. So, yeah, I've got the link in the description for that as well. I have to, the way that my nervous system works, I get a better movement with my left arm when I'm actually doing this with my right arm as well, because I'm right-handed. Isn't it funny how our nervous system works? Okay, come on. All right, let's get out there. Oh, whoa. Fun fact, did you know that the majority of muscle hypertrophy, or the majority of the damage that happens to the muscle fibers that stimulates muscle hypertrophy, or that is the stimulus for muscle hypertrophy, occurs during the eccentric phase of the contraction? So in that case, when you're going down with gravity, when you slow down the eccentric phase, you get more damage to the muscle fibers, more muscle hypertrophy. And another really good thing you can do for yourself is to increase your workout efficiency is to stretch between strength training sets. Sorry, I'm a little bit out of it at the moment, at the end of a long day. So my upper body's relaxing here. I'm not doing anything that's preventing recovery in my upper body, but I'm using the time to work on flexibility in my lower body. And now I'm going to go and do a pull-up, which is training the opposing muscles to a shoulder press. And there's a lot of good reasons to do that. You can actually increase strength in both lifts by doing that. You can increase flexibility in your shoulders, and it makes your workouts way more efficient when you do it like that. Here we go, first set of pull-ups. Alright, so I'm going to do 4 more sets of all of that. So I'll do 5 rounds in total, but I'm running a bit late today and setting up the cameras and everything for all of this takes a bit of time, so I'm just going to get my 4 rounds done. I'll see you on my first set of supplementaries. Alright, on to my first round of supplementaries. So I'm doing a dumbbell lateral raise and some lat pull downs, and I'm starting to work on middle splits now. So this is to add volume to my shoulders, because I'm trying to build muscle in my shoulders, and I want to do it unilaterally, meaning that each arm is moving the weight individually with dumbbells instead of with barbells or calisthenics, because I want to work out a muscle imbalance. Okay. And I don't go all the way down because it keeps the muscle loaded. When you go there, the muscle deloads the deltoids. So when you stop there, it keeps the tension in the deltoids for more muscle hypertrophy. Alright, so now I'm into the middle splits training. This is my first middle splits exercise. So, haven't done 20 kilos or 44 pounds for those of you in America for a while. So I always do, during my primary lifts, which was my shoulder press and pull-ups, I always do pretty gentle flexibility movements. So like the couch stretch, it's a pretty cruisy movement, whereas this is a loaded stretch. So, you know, I've got 40 kilos on my body here. There we go. Or, 88 pounds. So it's not heavy, but it's certainly going to affect my ability to recover. So I don't do this kind of flexibility work in my primary lifts. I save it for the supplementaries. And I do some end range contractions there as well. I've got something in my eye. So contracting my glutes to, really help with the flexibility. Right. And now for the opposing muscles for the shoulder lateral raise. I'm doing some lat pull downs with my homemade lat pull down machine. My 2 cable pulleys. These cable pulleys are awesome. Alright, my shoulder work is finished. Now I'm into my arms. And I'm starting with these neutral grip bicep curls because they're a good way to train around golfer's elbow, and I'm just in the final stages of fixing my golfer's elbow, so I'm just deloading the wrist flexors a little bit. And by working on a 45-degree angle like this, changes the angle of the humerus, and that lengthens the long head of the bicep. So it just changes the way that you're using the biceps. And of course, I'm training the triceps as the antagonist or opposing muscles to the biceps. Always train opposing muscle systems 1-to-1. And this is my next exercise for the middle split. This is an end range contraction for the glutes, and end range strength in the glutes is a huge part of the middle split. All right, 2 more sets of that, and then I'll move on. All right, moving on to my next set of bicep curls. Really trying to maximize muscle growth with a slow eccentric contraction. And full range of motion, so I recruit more muscle fiber. So full range of motion, more muscle fibers recruited, more muscle fibers to hypertrophy. Slow eccentric contraction, more damage to the muscle fibers, more hypertrophy. All right, next part of my middle splits training, doing an end range contraction here. Same thing, 10 seconds. So much of the flexibility is about learning how to contract your muscles at their end range. So it teaches the nervous system that it can use that range. Alright, and now I'll superset into a active middle split. I'm feeling pretty stiff today. when you do a good active middle splits, like if you're really getting the cues right where you get into a posterior tilt and you're squeezing your legs together so that you're really using your glutes, because you can kind of cheat it by sitting in an active position, but it's just your ligaments that are holding you up, because your body's just kind of being stretched out to as far as it can go, and the pressure's just going on the connective tissue, rather than, when you're doing it actively and you're really holding on with your muscles. It's really hard if you do it properly. But it's really good as well. And I do get people ask me in the UMS tribe membership with our coaching, they say, when can I progress from the active middle splits to the straddle up? And I usually say I don't like people to progress to the straddle up until they can go about as low as what I was doing there, which isn't that low. I was about that high off the ground. Of course, that's probably low for you if you compare it to what you can do. But, when you compare to elite level people that are in the middle splits, that's mediocre flexibility. But that's at a point where, when you come down like this, to be able to get up off the ground, it isn't as big a movement. And, the straddle up is where you push yourself from here and you come up and go into your split and then back down. And you need to be able to get down low to be able to do that. Oh man, I'm really cooked now.